In tonight's Medical Watch, the incredible effort to save a toddler shot in the head.
It is incredible. Medical reporter Dina Bair has more on what it takes to rescue the youngest victims of gun violence.
It's a horrific injury. When Caden Swan was shot on April 6th, a 21-month-old caught in the crossfire. An entire medical team mounted a Herculean effort to save his life. And at the center of his care, a physician inspired by a violent loss of his own, an event that ultimately brought him to Caden's bedside. This is a story that begins on Chicago's Lakeshore Drive, where on a sunny spring afternoon, road rage ended with shots fired. A bullet ripped through 21-month-old Caden Swan's head.
So what it seems like is the bullet went through the right temple, so that goes through throughout the entire cortex to the brain out the other side.
It's an area that controls movement and vision.
When he came in, there was a lot of blood, and he really wasn't doing that much, and that was a bad sign for us.
Caden was rushed to the hospital by a Good Samaritan. He was ultimately brought to a trauma room at Lurie Children's, equipped to care for the most critical patients.
It's very much controlled chaos.
Good duration, both sides, symmetric test rise.
We've captured the same scene in the past. Teams 3 lines deep gather, some at the bedside, a secondary unit at the perimeter, and another just outside the door watching from a bird's eye view monitor, all focused on the baby in the bed.
So there's about 20 to 30 people that are mobilized.
What were the odds of saving this child?
You know, when you're in the moment, we don't think of odds. You don't really have the luxury of thinking of odds.
Dr. Marcello Malacuti didn't plan on working in a pediatric hospital, but ironically, it was another act of gun violence that changed the course of his career. In 2007, his cousin was killed during the Virginia Tech mass shooting.
I was on my way to take care of adults for the rest of my life, and when this happened, it was just a reminder of how innocent children are and how none of them obviously ask for any of this to happen, and they're put in harm's way. So I've really committed to dedicating my life to try and reverse that as much as possible.
Someone is putting direct pressure on his wound to help to decrease the bleeding.
From Trauma A, Caden was brought to the pediatric intensive care unit.
And what we found when we did the scans was that his entire brain was very swollen from the injury.
Neurosurgeons placed a shunt or drain to ease the mounting pressure in Caden's head. The toddler was placed in a medically induced coma, and a ventilator took over his breathing. Also, his brain could rest. At the same time, his tiny heart was under enormous stress.
We had to kind of put his heart into overdrive, into superdrive, and give him extra fuel to really pump what his brain needed. And then he has several sensors on his body to measure his heart rate, his blood pressure, and lots of large catheters.
Day and night, hour by hour.
He required a nurse that would be with him and just him the entire time, as well as a team of doctors and respiratory doctors and therapists. So it's a lot of effort and resources that go into maintaining that brain that has been injured. But of course, we don't hold anything back. As
a team of 50 worked on Caden upstairs, downstairs, Dr. Malacuti provided frequent updates on the toddler's progress.
It's a very tenuous situation. It can change hourly for us. He had a few close calls, and he had a few scary setbacks that thought that maybe we wouldn't be able to reverse and protect the brain from the injury it was experiencing. Here's this horrible story with this innocent kid, and literally in the line of fire, who we really wanted him to beat the odds. This is a rarity to have a gunshot wound in this young of a child. The first 3 days of any brain injury are really important, and that's the time when you continue going full force forward.
What are you looking for to tell you, well, things might be going well?
As we started to lighten some of his coma medications, we would want to see what he would do on his own. So can he move his fingers? Can he move his toes? Is he starting to move around his body or anything like that? If they can breathe on their own, we're also wondering, will they be able to walk? Will they be able to feed themselves? Will they be able to interact with the outside world? He's certainly beaten the odds. It is a miracle. Just a few days after we were able to get him out of this coma, He was a really vigorous little guy and trying to pull out his things. And you know, that's really good news for the family. It's really good news for us.
Life changes in an instant.
Lives can be changed overnight when things like this happen. I think the word that comes to mind is just reckless, because there's obviously not foresight in these people's minds that will use firearms in a dangerous way. I think had they had the foresight and been able to be in the room with us when we're treating these injuries and be at the child's bedside like the nurses every day and every night for weeks on end, I wonder if it would impact them differently.
Remarkably, Caden is expected to be released from the hospital in the coming weeks and will then go to a rehabilitation facility where therapists will help him regain as much function as possible. It's not yet known what type of deficits he'll face during a long road ahead, but Dr. Malakouti is hopeful he'll have a meaningful recovery. Back to you.
Wow. Incredible to think about it.
It is.